Hi, my name is Glenn Dyer. I'm the founder and CEO of African Missionary Outreach, a nonprofit corporation we recently formed to minister in Liberia, West Africa. I've been ministering there in Liberia since my initial visit there to do a pastor's discipleship conference in 2006. I feel God has called me to work with the indigenous people of Africa. Since then, I have recruited pastor friends and some of my other brothers and sisters to help me lead pastor's conferences, men's and women's discipleship conferences. Liberia is one of the poorest countries in this world. Those living in the rural areas try to raise their own food or gather plants and fruits growing wild, but they are greatly hampered by the heavy rains during the 6 to 7 months of rainy season. Food and clean water are the greatest physical needs in the entire country. Rice helps fill their hungry bellies and has quickly become the desired staple for them. It is said that rice is like gold since so many of them are starving. Liberia is an agricultural society. They produce only 30% of their rice. So they all struggle with how to provide food for their families. Since it's difficult to help all of them, AMO tried to identify the most needy groups in Liberia. We determined that orphans, the elderly, school students, patients in hospitals, refugees, and prison inmates were the most needy. We decided to begin our efforts to provide help for the poorest of the poor, those who can't help themselves, that being the orphans. Our first thought was that we could begin by giving rice to 5 orphanages that we had already visited, which are located near the capital city of Monrovia. We found that the Liberian Department of Social Services had records indicating that Monrovia itself had 83 orphanages. Of course, our desire was to give rice to all of those children in all 84 of the orphanages. So we prayed and we waited for funds to provide. Once an initial donation was made in January of 2014, other donations began to come in from churches and individuals little by little. The amount of money donated for this 2014 rice project would determine how many orphanages we would be able to service at this time. By faith, our little team bought flight tickets and continued plans to go to Liberia in February of 2014. Our Liberian pastor friends joined us in praying and fasting from sunup to sundown each Friday until we left for Liberia. In order to deliver rice to all 84 orphanages, it became quickly apparent that this huge task could not be completed in the week that we had scheduled to be in Liberia. So 2 of our team members volunteered to go to Liberia a week earlier in order to buy the rice and deliver it to the orphanages that were most difficult to relieve. We all rejoiced when the rice was bought and delivered to the African Missionary Foundation compound. The Liberian pastor took turns praying and protecting the rice around the clock for a period of 2 weeks while the project was being accomplished. Some of these pastors also accompanied our 2 brave team members as they traveled to the distant counties and delivered over half of the rice in 1 week. After spending several nights in the bush with their truck and their precious cargo, they returned over treacherous roads to Monrovia in time to join the rest of us as we arrived in Liberia. Divided into 4 teams, we delivered a month's supply of rice and a Bible, and to each of those remaining orphanages in 4 days. What a wonderful experience. Having that extra day, our last rice delivery was to be to the village of Gayard, where we began our ministry in 2009. And in order to accomplish a God-sized project, He needs individuals with a God-sized commitment.